Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Sean McCormac, who will fight on Levels Fight League 23, July 5th. Hello, Sean. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Glad to be here.
And in just few days, we will fight in, I think that overall, a really big regional promotion against really solid opponent. But if you can tell me, how do you feel about this fight, like a few days to going to the cage?
No, I'm very excited. It was a short notice fight for myself. I think 18 days notice was what I was given, but I'm a professional. I'm always in shape and I'm always ready. And I'm super excited to get over to Amsterdam. It's a place I've been many times before. Love the city, love the people, and I'm just really excited to get over there and showcase my skills in Amsterdam.
And overall, do you like this kind of like short notice fights? So you don't have this kind of like long training camp?
Yeah, well, I was staying ready anyway. I know these are busy months for fights, and it's been very tough to get me matched in the last probably year anyway. So I've just been staying ready. And I was working towards trying to get on Cage Warriors around this time anyway, or maybe late July. So I've just been hard at the work, and then my coaches hit me up with the prospect of getting over and fighting in Amsterdam. So I was very happy to oblige.
And of course, you will fight in other country against a fighter who will have like his home crowd behind him. And do you like this kind of situation that maybe you will not be like the a fan's favorite?
Yes, absolutely. There's something exciting about going into the Land's Den, strapping the tricolour upon my back and walking into a sea of fans who are there supporting their guy. There's not much pressure on me. A lot of the pressure will be on him. It's his hometown, it's his fans, it's his show. They've brought me in necessarily to get this guy another win and get up there, but it's up to me to go out there and stop that. So no, it's very exciting and it's something that I got into the sport for. I always wanted to go and travel to different countries, different cities, and get to showcase my skills in front of different crowds. So I'm very excited for it.
And about your opponent, Carlo, who is right now 4-2, did you have any chance to watch any of his like fights, footage, maybe know something more about his style?
Yes, I watched his last fight. He fought on levels against the guy. Big, strong guy, but aren't all middleweights. But no, very strong grappler. A little green on the feet, but he's obviously getting better. He's like myself. He's still young in his professional game. Seems like a nice guy. Seems like a good fighter. I'm excited to get in there and just put him to the test. This is what I get into this sport for. Big challenges, big opponents. You're going in against the guy who finished the last guy in great form. Although personally, I thought it was a very close contest with the guy, and he made a few little tiny mistakes that nearly cost him the contest during the fight. But he did well to rally at the end of the fight and get the finish off. So much respect to him, and I look forward to putting my skills against his and seeing who comes out on top.
Actually, I think that he's a like really good prospect, but in the end, you have this kind of experience fighting against like big prospects yourself because you fought
Yes.
in like against like Oban Elliott, who of course right now is like really like a big figure in the
Yeah.
UFC. So like in your last fight against Khan, I think that overall he had also this kind of like hype
Yes.
behind him, and you actually look really good in this fight.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, both of them were, Hayden Khan was maybe 5 weeks notice, which was a lot more. Oban Elliott was 1 week's notice, with over in London. So, no, both great experiences. It shows, my testament to who I am. I'll go in there and test myself against anyone. And a lot of experience gained from both of them fights, big moments. I got to walk out against Hayden Khan in my hometown of Belfast and in front of 8,000 people, a dream of mine that I've always wanted growing up. So no, it was great to go in and test myself against them. Those guys are, experience wise levels above me, but it certainly showed in the fight, not skills wise, because that Hayden Khan fight was that was a good fight, like, and it was a close fight.
And you fought in big promotions like Cage Warriors, PFL Europe, but in the end, when I checked like your career, you are not a super active fighter. So
No,
sometimes you fight like once a year, sometimes you
yeah,
have a like 1 year break. And if you can tell me, is it like any kind of reasons? So maybe like something like injury behind it, or you just
yeah.
wanted to plan this career in this way?
No, well, as you say, so I think I had four fights initially within my first maybe 11, 12 months. And then I sustained a really bad knee injury, a couple other injuries around my body that put me out for about a 2 year period, just back to back, career ending potentially injuries that I had to battle back from. And then I eventually got back and took the Hayden Cowan fight, and was back to full health for it, thankfully. And then after that, I was tied to PFL until February of this year, and they just kind of they didn't give me any fights anywhere. They were abroad in different countries, over in Dubai and stuff like that. And obviously, they're going to give their spots to fighters probably from those regions. So I was kind of held a little bit hostage in that promotion because they wouldn't release me, but I couldn't take fights elsewhere. And then since I got released from them in February, I just haven't, my coaches have showed me they've been putting my name forward for so much, but there's just been no bites really. So I was kind of left to the point where I knew that I was going to have to take a short notice fight when someone's opponent pulled out and they needed a middleweight. So that's why I've just been staying ready around this time because I knew there were so many active shows on. So I was just getting myself in good shape and ready to be able to take a fight on 2 weeks' notice. And you couldn't do it if you weren't ready for it. If you this is the game that we're in, sadly. There's fighters drop out and for many reasons and it's understandable, but you've got to stay ready and therefore you don't got to get ready.
But I think that taking short notice fights in some ways can make a fighter a kind of like legend because Donald
Yeah, for
Cerrone
sure.
took a lot of this kind of fights. Right now, Kevin Holland is like known for doing this kind of things. So I think that it is possible. Of course, it's not the perfect for the fighter
Yeah,
because it would be like better to have like a long training camp. But in the end, if you can take this kind of fights, your like stocks can definitely go up really, really
100%.
quickly.
100%. You can get in there and you can steal the hype pretty much. There's something to be said for a short notice fight, especially when you are fit and ready to come into like a 2 weeks notice fight. Because, if I wasn't fit, I would obviously have the doubts. I'd be like, oh, I'm not fit enough. I haven't had this camp in. But I'm always in the gym. I'm in the gym 5 days a week. I train twice a day on top of my job. And, I'm able to come in here and I'm in such a good place in terms of my weight cut and stuff like that. So, I'm just super excited to get in. And as you say, it is something you look at those fighters and you think that is legendary that they're doing that. But to be honest, sometimes an 8 week camp can be brutal. You put 5 weeks of graft in, your body's racked. I feel fresh right now, I'm ready to go. So I'm just super excited to get over in there and get it done.
And what is your like regular job?
I work as a firefighter over here in Belfast, so I do. So I work 2 day shifts, 2 night shifts, and then I'm off four. So I'm on a kind of rotational pattern with them. So a full-time firefighter, which because of my days off, I'm allowed to train. And then of course in work, it's such a physical job. We get a little time to train as well, and I just work things around it, that suits me. I've been doing that now 8.5 years, similar to my MMA career when I started amateur. So it's just always been an aspect of my life I've been able to work around it. I know a lot of people when they talk to me about it, they say, "How do you do both?" But it's all I've ever known. So that's just how I do it.
And I actually Stipe was, of course, like a
Yes,
firefighter from one side and
yes,
UFC heavyweight champion from the other. So it is in some ways possible.
yes, for sure.
And if you can tell me more about your gym and the team that you prepare yourself for this fight, and then also for the previous fights, if you can like mention a few, maybe few coaches or the prospects that you have
Yes,
there.
for sure. So my gym's Fight Academy Ireland, out of Belfast. An amazing gym, has had an amazing few years, but we've known for the past 10 years that they were going to be an amazing gym, building up prospects. The coaching up there, and Patrick McAllister and Liam Shannon is next to none. I have amazing training partners, up around middleweight. We have Paddy McCrory, the Cage Warriors middleweight champ. You have my brother who also does mixed martial arts, Gareth McCormac. Just these big guys. You've got Mark. You've got so many big guys up there that are professionals. You've got welterweights like Sen and Coakley who are there, who are on Cage Warriors. You've got Paul Hughes, of course, there as a featherweight. So, like, I could literally sit here for 20 minutes and name these amazing guys because this gym really has been doing great things in the last few years. And on this show, obviously, Mark fought on LFL. You've had Tiernan Loughran's fought on LFL. These guys have opened the doors for this show to come and talk to us and communicate with us, and that's how luckily I've got this opportunity. But no, the gym's amazing. We've just moved up to a new spot, so it's world class facilities up there, and it has everything you need as a fighter. I've traveled all over the world and trained in different gyms, and there's nothing quite like Fight Academy Ireland at the standard and level that we train at.
And when I check like a list of the fighters, I think that in a few years it can be like many fighters who are on the like even UFC levels. So
Yes, well, we had Reece McKee there. I should have mentioned Reece McKee, of course. He's just came out of the UFCs in PFL. Another one of my big training partners. I was getting him ready for the last PFL fight, which was in the early hours of the morning. So sometimes we had to go up and spar each other at like 1 a.m. in the morning, which wasn't fun, but it's got to be done. I'm here for my training partners. They're also here for me. I help you, you help me, that kind of way. And it really is. They say it's not a team sport, but you're not going to get far if you don't have an amazing team around you, and that's what I have up there.
and after this fight, of course, we don't know what's gonna happen. But in the like perfect world, when would you like to fight again?
Like I want to be active. I would say this is early July. I'm actually over in Amsterdam 2 weeks later with my fiance, so I have a bit of a holiday there for a few days. I'm going over to watch the weekend in concert, and then I'm getting married later next year. So I actually have my stag party in August. So I'll get back into training straight away. I'll always stay training. Maybe September would be perfect. I know. There's another LFL show in September. I know that there's Cage Warriors Dublin in September. So they could be possibilities. I'll just get this fight done with, stay ready, and then hopefully jump into another one, all being well.
Yes, but I think that it is good that you have this kind of experience with big promotions because either you will be like in Cage Warriors or even in levels. It's like really good place because they have a good roster. So
Yeah.
definitely you can be challenged there.
Yes, for sure, and it brings something different. Getting in, people love the Irish. People know how they always bring it in fights. So no, I'm excited to get over and experience this promotion. As you say, I've been over and done PFL. I've done Cage Warriors. So for me as a fighter, back when I was younger, I just got into this to be an amateur, and then it was dreams of being a professional. To be able to go to all these different promotions and to see them, to share experiences with the people who work in them, to fight under the bright lights in different cities and countries. It's an amazing prospect for me. So I'm just really, really excited for it.
Okay, Sean. So many thanks for the time and for conversation, and good luck in your upcoming
Yes.
fight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And thank you for your time.